Hello everyone, we got some interesting news. My name is Asmogan, and we're going to be talking 40k today. Specifically, the new Emperor's Children news. So, yeah, let's get right into that. Alright, so I'm a little bit late to this news, so forgive me. Information came out yesterday, but I was very tired. I went to MEPS, the Military Entrance Processing Station, on Wednesday and Thursday, so I was very, very boinked out on Friday. So that's why I didn't make a video talking about it the day of. So forgive me for being a little bit late, and let's get right into it. So LVO Preview 2025 establish exactly how much is too much with the Emperor's Children. I see what you did there. The galaxy is in flames, but it's not all as glum and dreary as it seems. But those who seek it, perfection can be glimpsed amidst all the slaughter, and it has a name: the Emperor's Children. Yes, and how? So on my Discord is where I first saw the announcement. It tends to be where I think a lot of us end up seeing a lot of news these days. And when I saw this image, I was taken aback quite a bit. I'm still not a huge fan of that Fulgrim model, but I'm not going to say it looks terrible. I mean, with the right paint job, any model can look above and beyond sexy. Sexy in this video is going to have a new connotation now. Or I guess the oldest connotation. Irregardless, outside of my dislike of the Fulgrim model, honestly, looking over the paint scheme and looking over every other model we're going to look over today, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be for every other model. I really didn't like the design. Well, the overall the silhouette is great for Fulgrim. It's specific design choices on the model I'm not the biggest fan of. And I might talk about that a little bit. I don't want to have the whole video be me just talking about what I don't like about Fulgrim's model, because I would like to talk about what I do like about the rest of these models. But one thing I do want to throw out there before we even get into the rest of this article and the rest of these showcases, I will say this: generally, I don't recommend buying any of what we're about to talk about today. Not just for boycott reasons. If you have a lot of issues with GW like myself and others right now, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it because of the cost. The cost of a lot of GW products is at an all-time high, and I wouldn't recommend buying them. Specifically, I wouldn't recommend buying them MSRP. If you can get these models for even just a couple bucks less, if you're absolutely desperate for Emperor's Children models, then go to eBay, go to a secondary market, whatever you might have in your local area. Do not buy MSRP. Now, that's general for 40k, period. Like, going to GW's web store and buying the products directly from them is always a bad idea, because it's always going to be wickedly I still think it's wickedly overpriced. So if you're looking to save even just a couple bucks, go to eBay. Or, again, if you're someone like myself who has a lot of issues with GW right now and doesn't want to support them at all, there's 3D printing. Seriously, for probably what the cost of the Fulgrim, not even the rest of what we're going to showcase, just Fulgrim, you could probably get a cheap 3D printer and print pretty much everything you see here, or an equivalent of, and paint that up instead for a fraction of the price. Quite honestly, it's just not worth the money right now, in my opinion. But, of course, I'm not your dad, I'm not your god, I'm not your boss. I can't tell you what to do. I can only give suggestion, and my suggestion is do not buy what we're about to look over. If money's no object and you don't have a problem with GW, obviously that doesn't apply. Go ham. Do what you will with your money. Vote with your dollar. It's entirely on you. So anyway, now that I got that a little out of the way, let's keep going. So they showcase this huge image. Really love again. Credit to where it is. Some of the marketing team can do their job quite well. This is a very, very awesome image. As you already saw in our dazzling Christmas Day reveal, the Demon Primarch Fulgrim, yeah, I saw him alright, has descended on leathery wings to show his brothers how a real champion of the dark powers fights. Not only is he headlining a brand new Emperor's Children range with his monstrously magnificent miniature, but he'll also be starring in a new Black Library novel to announce his return to the 41st millennium, Fulgrim, the Perfect Son. Please be written better than the last Fulgrim novel we had. I'll leave it at that. Fulgrim, the Perfect Son by Jude Reed. I don't know Jude Reed as an author, so I don't know if his stuff is normally very good or not. I don't know. Let me know in the comments for those who have read Jude Reed, or give me a book title he might have written, because maybe I have read him and I'm just not thinking of the book. But this is the Fulgrim model. I'll start with what I do like about the model. The wings look really, really good. I like the fleshy rampart here. It almost looks like an arm, and then it like mutates into this skeletal kind of vibe here. Very Slaanesh, like it. Obviously, the paint scheme is masterful. It tends to be whenever we see these new models. I don't know how I feel about his two lower arms. I don't know, something about them looks off to me. It could just be the angle, but the scaling of them feels a little off. I don't know. Again, I'm going to be a little bit nitpicky here. And there's going to be a lot of people in the comments who go, oh, who cares? You know, the model looks fine. This is my opinion. Just letting you know. I don't really like what they did with this here. Yeah, I don't know. This looks strange. Like, obviously, it's supposed to look a little strange. It's Slaanesh, you know, rippy parts, you know, weird, you know, piercings that are pulling apart flesh here and there. I don't know. This part just looks strange. And he's got his little cock protector. There we had to have that nice little detail there. That's not a complaint. That's just me making a joke. But yeah, like little things. I do want to move on because there's actually plenty of other reveals I do want to kind of gush about some of them. But little bits and bobs about this Fulgrim model I don't really love. I think the older one is better if you can get your hands on it. But yeah, it's not a bad model. I will stress that as well. Like, this isn't like an ugly, hideous, terrible, you know, like they completely screwed it up. And it's more like it's just a little bit lacking in comparison. I suppose I would say this: if we didn't have the older version, if we didn't have the older version, let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Okay, so of course I had to go to Reddit to find it. So this is the older resin model, if I recall correctly. I really like this design a lot more. Like that right here. In particular, this abdomen area with this little like mouth and eyes like kind of like eating downward onto like this elongated, scaled, like plated. This looks so much better. Like, I really love the armor. I love like the exaggerated, you know, dragon / snake-esque scales everywhere. And right here, like the way the arms here look a lot more toned, a lot more. And part of it's a paint scheme, admittedly, but also it's actually how the arms are kind of scaled and modeled. It looks so much better. Like, and again, the face looks so good, and the fleshiness of the wings is so much more pronounced. It's again, like I just, we got spoiled with this model and this appearance so much that honestly I don't know. I don't know. By comparison, the newer model I think is just a disappointment by comparison. If this model didn't exist and I hadn't seen this before, this probably would look better to me. But it's a downgrade because another version existed. And this part right here, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. I get what they're going for. It's like the Slaaneshi, like tearing apart flesh and the pain, pleasure, and all that. But it also is like it's just kind of, even for Slaanesh, odd. I don't know. Maybe again, we got more to go through, but honestly, the new Fulgrim model, it's not ugly. It's not like overarchingly bad. It's just it suffers from having a superior version of it that exists, or existed, I should say. So anyway, Fulgrim model aside, let's keep going. But we've already seen Fulgrim, and his underlings are clamoring for the attention their pursuit of perfection craves. When the Emperor's children are spoken of in hushed whispers across the galaxy, one name above all strikes fear into the hearts of the sternest soldiers. A seemingly unkillable warrior whose immense skills as a duelist are eclipsed only by the extent of his boundless ego. He is Lucius the Eternal, and he's never looked so good? ? So this is the new Lucius model. Honestly, I don't know. Like the head notwithstanding, I do think I like generally the look of the model. I know the general gist of Lucius's lore. I remember from the books in the Horus Heresy, especially with the Dropsite Massacre stuff. That was Lucius, right? Yeah, because the Emperor's children, they were down on the surface. It was Ryan Lenore. Sol Tarvitz, and there was also Lucius. And he ended up... I'm not going to say anymore because I will spoil it. The point is... So, with Lucius, I think he's an interesting character. I just personally, with a mental image of how I pictured him, even after demon possession and all that, I imagine his like, physical look here to look a little different. Maybe that's just me, but it doesn't look bad, just not my personal preference of, like, how I would have designed his face. Everything else looks pretty good, though. Like, the blade that he's being known as, like, an expert swordsman. I really do like the outfit as well. The little stitch lines right here. The flesh being, like, dragged over some of his armor bits. It's very, very Slaneshi. I do like it. I do like it. It looks pretty good. A solid model. And with varying paint schemes, this can be one of the best looking models to, like, bring to, like, well, I wouldn't say bring it to a Golden Demon, because, I've heard some rumors that Golden Demon's having some issues lately. I don't know if those are total, like, admittedly, I'm not totally plugged in with Golden Demon, but let's just say if Golden Demon is a perfectly good tournament with no issues right now, it'd be cool to bring a version of this, like, on a nice little plaque with, like, a very, very decorative base. Maybe even have him, like, no. Anyway, point is, this is a very solid looking model. I do like it, and there's definitely room for kit bashing. I would like to see how he's broken up into sprues, though. I would like to see that. Especially with that whip and how it, like, comes out of the pauldron and then builds out here. I figure that this whole bit is cut up somewhere here, but I can't see any seam lines, so they either covered it up with green stuff or something else. That or the seam line's, like, right here, and it's just at an angled view. And I would like to see it broken up into sprue before I compliment it too much, because I think the assembly might be a pain in the ass. But if it looks this good when you're done with it, it might be worth it. I mean, nothing's going to be as bad as the Stompa up there on my shelf. Nothing. I stand by. That is one of the hardest fucking models I've ever assembled. I never want to do another one. The stories of Lucius' exploits are as numerous as the foes filled with his cursed sword, the legendary blade of the Lair, found by Fulgrim during the height of the Great Crusade, and granted to his most entertaining champion. Those not cut down by its warp-infused edge are rent by the horrifying lash of torment, a writhing, squirming whip, barbed with parasitic hooks and emanating from one of the many screaming faces etched across his armor. Indeed, and it does look really cool. I will give him that. Okay, here's a better angle. Is there a seam line? Not that I can easily make out. So again, they probably either covered it up with green stuff, or it might actually be at the hand, now that I think about it. Again, I would love to see it on a sprue. Lucius can't be everywhere at once, however, and many Emperor's Children warbands are instead led by one of the many corrupted Chaos Lords pledged to Slaanesha's service. These lords exultant are sadistic strategists who delight in proving their tactical superiority by weaving complex battle plans across war-torn worlds like artists painting a masterpiece. Their dark charisma and bottomless imagination for audacious cruelty gives them great control over the preening and self-absorbed warriors of the Emperor's Children, coupled with the well-honed combat skills using a wide variety of masterwork war gear. Alright, so we get to check out some of the other HQ options. Let's see here. So, before I go on too much. First one, pretty serviceable. I do like the helmet. That painting this is going to be a little bit... Generally, painting CSM has always been a pain in the ass. But it could be a fun painting project. Like, I could see people doing, like, a couple different paint schemes. For example, I don't like the pink. Like, I know that's, like, part of the scheme of Emperor's Children is very, vibrant and pinkish and purples. And I like the purple. I don't love pink. At least this kind of shade of pink. I like it a little bit more closer to red. That's just me. Obviously, too close to red, it's just going to end up looking like corn. I get that. I don't know. Personally, I don't love the pink. Would either switch it with a magenta or a deeper purple. That would be me. But that's by the by. Otherwise, the actual model itself, I like the draperies. That feels very appropriate for Emperor's Children. Very flashy. I like the weapon. I do like that spear. It's kind of like a spear sword because the end of that is really long. That's what she said. I do like the slash symbol. Generally, this is a very serviceable HQ. I do think it looks good. I do like the palleted or plated, layered armor. I do like that quite a bit. If anything, it makes me even more annoyed that Fulgrim doesn't have that. It would have, again. We were spoiled with the older design I saw. I liked that armor. I liked the exaggerated scales on it. This is kind of a down. Again, I stand by. It kind of feels like a downgrade. Another HQ choice. Yeesh. Conehead mixed with Hellraiser. Yeah, Cenobites. Which is perfect, by the way. If you're looking for inspiration to design Emperor's Children, look at Cenobites. Like that is perfectly. That is a perfect choice. Well done. I do the half moon kind of cupped head. I do like that. That looks funny. I actually, the thing is, in my head, I immediately thought for a kit bash, like maybe putting something that it's like holding up here. Maybe like a large gemstone, or maybe actually if you have them, like a large eye, you could put some green stuff on. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I do think that it looks kind of neat. I like the drapery, like I did on the previous one. That kind of green look, that's interesting. I don't hate it. That's an interesting variation of color you could do on that. It's nice. Again, not a huge fan of the pink, but it's very toned down here. It's only in very select spots you see any pink, so it's fine. Generally speaking, a lot of the same compliments on the previous one I could provide here. I do like the bolt pistol, or actually that might be a different one. That is a different weapon. What is that one? I'm not sure. Overall I do like this model as well. Paint scheme even aside, the Cenobite inspiration with the face, a bit of the cone head pullback, and again there's some definite kit bash potential. Even in sometimes my quite unimaginative mind, I can see plenty of kit bashes you can do with this. So another neat HQ. And the last one, honestly, if I'm gonna make any kind of complaint with these, it's that two of these are basically the same thing. In fact, I'm willing to bet money all three of these might be one kit with variation. But I was hoping for a third head choice. It seems like there's two. There's, a standard helm, which I think looks the best. The Cenobite head, which looks cool and badass and frightening. But, I think the helms will always look cooler. The grills will always win my heart every time. I mean, to be fair, you can make the argument, wait, he still has grills. Fair. But I don't know, the head's the exact same by the looks of it, in both these two. Really, the difference between these two comes down to weapons and pose, I think. Yeah, it's just a difference of pose. So yeah, these are definitely in the same kit. If they're not, I'd be surprised. The weapon, it's just standard plasma pistol. The blade, outside the paint scheme, is kind of meh. Yeah, I'd say these are serviceable choices. They're fine. They're all very clearly off the same kit. The first one's the coolest looking, with the power fist. At least I think so. It looks significantly bigger than his hand over here, so I'm going to say safely that's a power fist. The spear, and this looks the best out of the three. This looks pretty good. Again, I like the Cenobite head. Only issue is they didn't choose to do another variation for it, so oh well. But yeah, so that's the HQ choices. I'd like to see them add more in the future. Lucius as an HQ choice is also pretty serviceable. Other commanders immerse themselves in the rapturous acoustic devastation of sonic weaponry. Guiding choirs. Oh, okay, so we are getting another HQ choice here. Guiding choirs of noise marines as one of the Lord Cacophon. I'm gonna butcher this. Of the Lord's cacophonist or cacophonist, where the Lord's exultant fight with their swords and minds. Lord's cacophonists. I'm not gonna be able to say that correctly. Put in the comments section how you're supposed to say that. Am I saying it right? Cacophonist or cacophonist maybe? Expertly orchestrate an overwhelming tirade of sonic destruction so loud it manifests strange eldritch phenomena quaking the very souls of their enemies. Alright, so looking over this design, I do like the veiny effect they did with the paint job. Oh, that's cool. I do like that. That looks nice. That very much conjures the feeling of flesh. Yeah, that is okay. That is interesting. But that's paint scheme. Looking at solely the design is fucking baller. I do gotta say, I love the look of this guy. I think the hooves at the end here, very nice choice. The big ass, again, it's not a bolt pistol. That's something else. I'm trying to remember if I know the name of this weapon. But I love the dual horror pistols, we'll call them for now. The pauldrons are really nice. The tubes that go up there. Also the like elongated grill he has. It all does conjure like, this is like a badass heavy rocker like with a freaking stereo system on his fucking back. That looks so cool. And the curvature, if you get the side view, is also really cool. I love this design. If I were to get any model, I would like to get a variation of this. I do hope to see people in the 3D printing sphere make variations of this. That'd be nice. And then we get to look at the troop choices here. The Noise Marines are masters of the lethal application of sound. Their armor and weapons are intricately woven with ornamentation. I cannot talk today. With ornamentation and dark sigils of Slanesh. Just check out these demonic faces on their sonic blaster barrels. Okay, sonic blaster barrels. That's what these are called. Okay, got it. With options of for a pair of heavy blastmaster cannons and a screamer pistol for the disharmonist squad leader. Disharmonist, okay. Alright, so similar to the HQ Noise Marine we saw earlier, they got like the stereo system on the back, and I do like that little transformation they did with like the vents that are normally on the Space Marine backpacks or power packs, we prefer. I do like that. I also like that there's variation in how they look. Like this one looks like it's almost like a beak mouth, and then this one's more like skeletal, like gargoyle. This one looks like kind of a cross between the two. Yeah, I do like that there's little subtle variations like that. Yeah, there's also subtle variations in the actual end piece here of like the screamer weapons. Yeah, like little things like that do kind of bring out the best in it, and I do really like that. The amount of kit bashing and customization that they're giving just within their own kits is really, really nice. So I do like the design here. They look really solid, and I could see that these being like a very, very fun, albeit intricate painting project. I do like these. All right, and they even like do some zoom ins here. So those champions of the Legion who give themselves over fully to the thrill of close combat become flawless blades, a dark mirror to the elite Palatine blades of the Great Crusade. What few gaps their own matchless combat skills leave are filled with a constant cocktail of combat stims and psychoactive substances that keep them in a constant state of adrenaline-fueled bliss. Their hideous appearance echoes the demons of the Dark Prince, whose gifts they readily accept. Though they aren't possessed like lesser heretic Astartes, rather they are far too selfish to share their flesh with anyone save their own perfect form. Interesting. And this is where I saw an image that made me laugh, because initially it was hard to make out that, like the HQ choices, they have like a little curve thing up here. I thought that was initially part of the backpack, so all I saw was the outline of the cone head. And I laughed my ass off. I was like, that is just so... And it still looks kind of derpy. Like, this face in particular, out of the three here, looks kind of derpy. It's like a weird demonic cone head. But generally, it's still overall cool design. I do like these overall. Compared to the Noise Marines, a little less, like, intricate, I would argue. Still, like, with nice subtle details, like the tubes going in and all that. Like, it still looks really solid. And that pretty much applies all here. I do like the frill choice here. I wish more of them did have like a little frill choice. Because that feels very Emperor's Children, right? Like frills and cloaks and like roberies and draperies and stuff like that. That's very... And they do have some of the draperies, obviously. But more frills. More frills. Get fancy with it. And honestly, this one out of the three here looks the most cool. Because weirdly enough, having hair, apparently, amongst any of the Trader Astartes is a rarity. So just for that, little extra points there for uniqueness, and the girl face. It almost looks like he's smiling. Like, I do like it. It's nice. The little tubes full of the drugs are taken on the back. It's cool. Oh wait, I almost missed that. Okay, that's kind of cool. Like the mouth open. It's fun to see what some like designers and modelers will come up with for Slaanesh in particular, because you know, with Drukhari being a good point of imagination to be built off of, and coming up with unique designs for Emperor's Children, I do like the little subtleties and little variations you see on everything. Even the most common space marines among Fulgrim's legion are masters of their own brand of warfare, and are often found collected into two distinct formations. Infractors are obsessed with experiencing every sensation the galaxy has to offer, and hurl themselves into close combat with wicked dueling sabers, determined to hunt down the most glorious opponents and prove their superiority at the edge of a blade. Okay, so we're getting Infractors here. Okay, immediately I do love this, like the flesh being pulled onto the pauldron and onto not just the greave, but all the way up to the thigh part of the greave. I would actually like to see a spin around version of that. I want to see how far that goes. But that looks really cool. Yeah, and obviously like a little like less intricate than the models prior, especially for compared to the Noise Marines. But I do like that. Also, it's supposed to look like this. We know this, but the fact that it's clear that the tube is the grills are a little bit more extended outward, like kinky. Okay. Again, I like the choice. I do like the variation in the helms we're seeing so far. Over here, the gimp one over here is not my thing. I don't like the gimp outfit, but I like the helm. I like the paint scheme they're going for there. I also like the little variations we're getting over here. Generally, kind of general compliments I can give on that. Yeah, these guys are all very serviceable, and the biggest ooh, I do like that. Okay, that's cool. But otherwise, like for the most part, it's just they look really ooh, okay. Sorry, that one made me laugh a little bit. We're getting closer to more of the Cenobite inspirations here that I wish we saw even more of, but that kind of made me laugh. But I really love the helmet variations. I do. I think they look really good. They're very clearly they're excited to see you. We're gonna blow the enemy away, right? We're gonna blow them. Sorry. Makes us laugh. Yeah. General troop choice looks pretty good. And Tormentors instead opt for mastery in the field of ranged combat, prizing speed. Actually, now that I think about it, I said troop choice over here. They're not troop choice. These guys are probably going to be elite choices, I'm gonna guess. I don't know. Well, I'll have to see their outline for like a army builder. But the Tormentors instead opt for mastery in the field of ranged combat. So this was our melee. This was our melee infantry / troop choice. These guys are going to be our ranged troop choice. Tormentors instead opt for mastery in the field of ranged combat, prizing speed and aggression over the lumbering defenses of their loyalists' nemesis. The highly ornamented bolt guns are supremely deadly in the hands of such skilled warriors, and even their endless hunt for even greater battle sensations doesn't curb their usefulness as objective capturing troops. And generally, really solid designs, really solid paint schemes. I do like, again, the flesh being like pulled over, pauldrons and stuff like that. Very, very appropriate for Slaanesh. That guy looks interesting, but yeah, Tormentors look pretty serviceable, pretty solid. I do like that it's clear through everything we've seen so far. It's pretty clear the modelers and designers did take their time and really bring out a unique feel to the Emperor's Children in a corrupt 41st millennium. The first wave of these glorious miniatures will be available in the tantalizing Champions of Slaanesh army set, which includes 2 units of 6 Noise Marines, so 12 unless I misread that, 2 units of 6 Noise Marines. So that tells me 12 total Noise Marines. 2 units of 10 Infractors, so 20 Infractors that can alternately be built as Tormentors. Okay. And a Lord Exultant. This is the perfect way to start a new Emperor's Children army. Okay, so it's an army box set. That's usually how they kick off new armies. And to cap it all off, it comes with an exclusive cover variant of Codex Emperor's Children, a full set of data cards, and a new transfer sheet. And let's be honest, that Codex and those data cards are going to be inaccurate for tournament play in no time when they rebalance them. It is, I will say this, it is quite unfortunate that the Emperor's Children are getting so much love, and probably the worst edition of 40k we've gotten in ever, really. 10th edition is absolute dog shit. I said a lot of shit about 9th edition when it came out. Honestly, by comparison, I think at this point 9th edition was doing better. Yeah, I don't know. Feel free to disagree with me up front, but I have had zero interest. Granted, I'm preoccupied with, prepping for the military and all this stuff on the background, and also keeping up with video games lately. But honestly, I just have had zero like every time there have been 10th edition tournaments in my area multiple times, and it's just I have zero motivation to want to play a 10th game. Like the only time I've been tempted, and I wasn't really tempted to play 10th, I was really hoping that maybe in my local area would set up like a 9th edition circuit or something, because honestly I'd rather go back to 9th than play more 10th. 10th has just been an utter disappointment. But anyway, my gripes about that aside, Emperor's Children, they're getting to me. I'm feeling the Slanesh corruption getting to my mind. Okay. Anyway, the Codex itself will also be available in its regular form soon after, along with the rest of the new miniatures, and a sleek, limited edition version of those with an eye for the truly sublime. We'll have more on that immaculate tome very soon, so stay tuned. Alright, so I'm assuming this is the generic one, and then we're getting like a special variant of it. If all of that hasn't left you in a state of joyful incapacitation, head back to the preview hub to see everything else we've revealed today. Okay, so that's the new Emperor's Children box, and overall model. If we just stick to like talking about the models look absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, they're gonna come with a huge price tag. New armies will always cost the most, and with all these new reveals, with all this new stuff, this box is going to be expensive. This is going to be easily in the 200, mid 200s range, maybe even up to 300. I don't know if they've announced the price. I didn't see them mention the price throughout this article, but this is going to be an expensive box. This is, I know I'm saying a very obvious thing. To anyone who's been in 40k longer than a day, this is going to be a lot of money. Again, I'm going to repeat a point I made earlier. Don't buy MSRP, which is main state retail price. It's the retailer set price. Don't ever buy 40k at that. If you buy 40k at all, go to eBay, go to a secondary market. You will get this stuff for way cheaper. And if you want to save the most amount of money, honestly, get a 3D printer and learn how to use that, learn how to work with that. Yes, it's a hobby in itself to learn how to do, but it saves you so much fucking money. It really does. It saves you so much fucking money. So personally, I wouldn't buy this box when it comes out. If you are loaded with money, that's not a concern at all, and you don't have any issues with JW right now, go ahead, obviously. I wouldn't put the money down for this. That's just me. Before I completely close off this video, I do want to, let you all know a couple things. So mentioned it a couple times in the video, but to give it a little bit more dedicated at the end here. Yeah, videos have slowed down substantially, I know, recently, and I apologize for that. I'm working on a really long video right now, effectively, with the Voxwork podcast episode that me and my buddy Nathan and my buddy Nico made. It's really late because we recorded the day before Henry Cavill officially announced that the Warhammer show is still on, and they're still working on it. It is going to be in production, so that's how long it's taken me to make the thing. But I'm heavily editing it, to be fair to myself, and also with a lot of distractions right now. With I need to go to the gym every morning. I'm really like hyper focusing on fixing up my diet There's, you know, because I'm prepping for military service. I'm hoping to go in the Air Force. I just finished MEPS. I did get disqualified, but I can hopefully get a waiver for that disqualification to be undone and hopefully get in sometime in the next couple months. But yeah, stuff's going on in the background, and that's why content is on the slow. I'm also planning on, as you guys have voted in the community page, I'm prepping like a Let's Play to have episodes periodically upload while I'm gone on the YouTube channel. I'm trying to pre-record those. I'm going to do that a little bit this weekend. And yeah, there's lots of stuff I'm trying to do and trying to like get into order. It's a lot, but hopefully it'll be worth it once it's all said and done. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you have any comments of your own to make through this new announcement, please feel free to leave them. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.